hands up. And the brothers in the middle, put your hands up. Thank you guys for joining me from Facebook. How's the screen? Can you see anything?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to Live with Toni Talks, and we have a super special guest, Stizzy G. Say hi, Stizzy.
Hey, what's up?
Stizzy is freaking amazing, and she is a hair graphics artist. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, Stizzy.
I'm from Oklahoma. I'm a person with dwarfism, so I'm 4'7". I'm built like a 12-year-old, and and I like to draw.
Okay, you're not alone. I'm 5'2" legally, but I say 5'3".
I love your outfit.
I told you I go all out. Like when I saw your designs, I'm like, I have to do something. So, so basically, you draw, and you're like a hair graphics artist, from what I could grasp from everything.
Yeah, so basically what I'm doing now is I've got a client who works at the weed shop. And so she wants something that has to do with weed. So I'm going to go ahead and draw her a weed leaf and a bunch of rainbows with it.
Okay. Okay, so just give us a moment. We're going to go back. Do you want to draw while we're like discussing things so you can show people, because I know the drawing process is really long. So you guys will get the opportunity to watch Stizzy draw while we go over a few topics, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the news lately. So let's get this news for you guys. Okay. It is Women's Month. It's our month, basically. So we are supporting women's rights. Women's rights are human rights, and I will, on Live with Toni Talks, basically use this month to talk about different women and how powerful we are and how we influence this country and how we've changed this country, even though we've had an uphill battle as far as having simple things like the right to vote and amongst the most important things. If you are a woman, please own your power, live in your power, and realize how wonderful you are, and don't let anyone take that away from you, because we had to fight hard to get to where we are today.
It really amazes me, actually, how much we're moving kind of backwards.
Yeah, we are. That's why, unfortunately, a lot of everything is going backwards in regards to all of the things that the people before us fought to have is slowly being taken away from us. It's slowly but surely being taken away from us. So, this is why this month is so significant, why this time is so significant, where we need to, reflect on the things that have taken place that gave us the ability to have a voice. Back in the day, me being a woman having a show, even though it's YouTube, and you being a female artist, like, this was completely unheard of. We would be seen as rude, bashful. We could end up in certain situations in jail, wrongly incarcerated, or end up getting killed. Because
women actually weren't allowed. They didn't even have jobs as artists back in the day during the Renaissance, or during the either the Renaissance or during the medieval era. Women weren't allowed to have those kind of jobs. Those jobs were actually profound for scholars, for men.
Yes.
And so women who did end up getting those jobs ended up being scrutinized, or ended up not getting paid at all, or end up doing like the type of Joan of Arc thing, where they would dress up as a man and then take on the job, and it wasn't until the job was finished that they would be like, hey, I'm a woman.
Or if you
Yeah.
look at the story, she's pretty famous, Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera.
Yes.
Yeah, if you look at everything that she had to go through as a female artist and to be recognized as a female artist, yes, her partner was a famous artist, but she had a lot of things that she had to overcome, not only health issues, but societal woes, in order to finally, after her death, be fully recognized for her artistic genius. And I believe they said that she worked on a lot of Diego's work, correct?
Yeah, she did. She did a lot of his works, and then he was actually very abusive. A lot of times he didn't feed her. It was a very destitute life for her, especially back then.
Yeah,
when women didn't have any rights at all. Basically, he would tell her what to do, and then she would do it, and then she wouldn't get she wouldn't really reap any benefits.
No.
And it wasn't until he was like on his deathbed that they actually started to kind of make amends, and things started to get better between them. But she always had like this resentment towards him because of it.
Yeah, that is. But if you actually, I think they have a few movies out about it, but it never really touches on the core of everything that happened in Frida Kahlo's life and what made her such an amazing person, an amazing woman. But if you do want to learn more, the information is available everywhere. But that's why Women's Month is so important, because there are women who came before us, and they did not get recognized for their accomplishments. Men took acknowledgments for their accomplishments, if it did go anywhere. And you were in a constant battle. Okay. But one of the things that I wanted to speak on is there was an incident at a school. I'm not going to mention the state or anything about it per se, but if you do want to look this up, you can just put Riverside School Counselor, and you will find the story on the news. But it says a Riverside School Counselor had 600 child pornography images, the police say. And I really felt like it pissed me off, because after reading the article, I really don't want to go into it a lot. Like, I could see your face. I really don't want to go into it a lot, but it says one part of the article said, yeah, it said, as for today, we are in our regular class schedule. Additionally, our campus is staffed with counselors and pastors who are engaging with students during this difficult time. Elizabeth Munoz Beard, the principal of the school, said. So I made this. This is basically a collage that I put together, and I said that it's throwing gas on the fire. Number one, it was a counselor. It was an African American male. He got caught with 600 images of child pornography. Okay, so the worst thing that you can do right now is to, I know it's well intended, but bring more counselors. You're going to bring more counselors to speak to the students, and you're dealing with a situation where these students have been possibly groomed for pedophilia by a counselor.
Well, they're bringing people from the same circle in, and it's
exactly.
Yeah, it's just going to keep going in on itself, and one of those things where they hide what they're doing. I mean, like you said, he was a black guy, or he's an African American man, so it just blows my mind, because if he was white or if he was Caucasian, then he wouldn't even be looked at right now.
Okay, the messed up part about it is they brought in counselors and priests to counsel the students because of the incident. So, like, the history of it is like, do you not watch the news? Like, do you think that was the wisest thing for you to do, with it being common knowledge that the cats home? Basically, send them home to their parents.
With a blanket.
Yeah, send them home to their parents. Give their parents, advice on how to counsel those students. But if there's a situation where this person had close contact with a number of students and he was in possession of pedophilia, the last thing you want to do is bring in organizations that have a history of being riddled with issues with basically being riddled with pedophiles. So I said it's basically adding gas to a fire. Like, I know this was well intended. I know that there's a possibility that those counselors are not affiliated with that at all. There's a possibility that those priests aren't affiliated with that at all. But I'm sorry.
I said, but I don't believe it.
Exactly. So there's still just like there's a possibility they're not affiliated with it at all. There's a big possibility that you got one person out and you brought 10 more in. So yeah,
just keep loading the train up. Just keep loading the train up. Eventually, it's gonna crash. I mean,
yeah, that I mean, when I read it, I'm like, okay, so this doesn't make sense. So I decided to bring it to the show and just speak on it a little bit because that was it defeated the whole purpose. You found this pervert, you got him out of the school. Kudos to you. That's wonderful that you caught him, but you don't bring in the same organization that has a problem with pedophilia into the school and say, "Oh, we're going to counsel these kids." When in reality, those kids may have been groomed to be, I don't know. I already said it, so I'm gonna leave that alone.
It's kind of like, did you watch that? Did you watch the rape of two Corys, the documentary that he?
We are going to hit on that. I haven't watched it yet, but that's my next topic.
Girl, I paid for the ticket. I did. I paid that $20 and I fucking waited till it was like on the minute, and then he put up some kind of error thing that said something about hackers, but girl, trust me, I said, I'll wait here, refresh. I was trying to watch it.
And did you get, they said that some people caught part of the show, some people didn't. Were you able to watch any of it?
Yeah, I got like maybe, it's a 2-hour special, and I want to say I got like maybe 45 minutes about it, and in it he talked about, oh my gosh, he went into like exclusive detail about the rape of Corey and with Charlie Sheen. Yeah. And oh my gosh, it was graphic. I felt like I should have been plugging my ears and getting some holy water because it was just intense.
So now, from what I read online, they were saying that Charlie took, during a movie, Charlie took Corey through between two trailers.
I think it was Corey Haim.
Yeah, he took Corey Hames between two trailers in broad daylight. Pulled his pants down, took some Crisco oil or something, lubed up his booty hole, and raped him.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
Word for word.
Yeah, he lubed up his butthole and then he raped him. And then they said he got him high on weed and he convinced the 13th, because at the time it says that Charlie was 18 or something and Corey was 13. So he convinced...
19. I think it was 19 and 15. 19, but still, the fact is that Quaaludes is what it was. Because I was like, what the fuck is a Quaalude? But apparently it's like a 1970s pain pill that like they used to like get off to and like spank their bank to and whatnot. So like apparently it's like just an old fashioned drug, one of those kinds of things.
Yeah. So
but that's what he was using was Quaaludes.
So he got him high and then he convinced the boy that it was kind of like a relationship thing. Like, oh, this is normal. This is what all the guys do. He called it boy code.
He said that. He called it boy code. He said that all guys did that. All of them. And then Corey's like, I don't know, man. I ain't gay. And then Corey's like, listen, dude. Listen. Just let me lick your balls a little bit. And I promise you, it's going to be great. I promise. And so he's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. And so they get into the hot tub. And then Corey's like, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so Corey's just like, oh, well, okay.
You're talking about Charlie
Best
said this is
friend.
going to happen?
Yeah, he and his best friend. Apparently, all the boys around that age, like they had like a little club, what they said, the boys' club or whatever, where they would play around with each other. And they would just like make out and like go to parties and have a good old time. And because it was because they were going through puberty and stuff, and because they didn't know how to meet girls or like.
So they were taking it out on each other.
They were hanging out with some guy named Martin, or they were hanging out with some guy. He's pretty famous, okay. But they were hanging out with some guy named I want to say his name was Martin. Okay. That's probably wrong.
Okay.
But they were hanging out with this guy named Martin, and they would go over to his house, and that's where it all started. Was this guy's house?
I know Charlie Sheen's father is Martin Sheen, right?
Mhm.
So
no, I don't think it was Martin Sheen. It was some producer of some little kid show, and then they would always make jokes about, hey, you're a pedophile because you are around all these little kids, and then the guy also happened to be gay. Mm-hmm. So they would make jokes about him fiddling with little boys, but come to find out it was true. Like one night, Corey Feldman had gone over to this guy's house. I'm just gonna call him Pedo B. So he was over to Pedo B's house, little Pedo Bear. He goes over to Pedo Bear's house, and they had like this party, I guess, and it was like, oh, you want to be invited to this guy's house because his son is really popular, and this is where all the popular kids that are rich hang out, and you want to be a part of this because you're going to get roles from this, and this is important, and this is super important that you do this. And so they went over to his house, and he'd been over there like 4 or 5 times before he had gotten invited to stay the night. And once he had gotten invited to stay the night, that's when things started getting crazy. Like they had been, mind you, Corey's only 15 at this time.
Yeah.
So they're drinking, they're having a good old time, they're watching movies. Dude, Pedo Bear puts on a porn. Corey is like, I don't see anything weird here. Me, I'd be like,
what the fuck is going on?
What kind of party is this? Because actually, you know what? That's happened to me before, and I did say that. I don't know what kind of party this is, but I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here. No, thank you.
Exactly. So, I'm glad you actually saw, because all I had the opportunity to do was to read on it, and it did say during the airing of it that he had to post a message stating that there was hackers and that he wants to get the message out there, but he has to find a way to stream it without running into those issues. And he was thinking of possible.
Yeah, he said there was some people called the Wolf Pack.
Yeah, the Wolf Pack that were harassing him, where he no longer could go home because he didn't feel safe. They had a calendar, like he found a calendar outside of his door, and it was like a picture of 3 wolves or something like that, and they were like threatening him.
And he can't figure out why. He's like, I don't even know why these people are following me.
Yeah.
Probably because of all the stuff that he knows, I guess.
Yeah, all the stuff. The thing is this needs to come out now, because look at all of the child celebrities who became extremely dysfunctional, and everybody's like, oh, what's wrong with that kid? Well, in reality,
Britney Spears Britney Spears is still on lockdown because of that shit.
Britney Spears, Amanda Bynes, Miley Cyrus is barely holding it together. Drew Barrymore went through it. There's a long list of celebrities, men and women, who were childhood celebrities, including Michael Jackson, who once they came of age, in the public, it appeared like they went batshit crazy.
Yeah, and little do these people know that the only reason why they appear that they're going crazy is because, well, they've been fed all these drugs and they've been messed with. And like, one thing people don't realize is that when you're going through therapy, it can actually trigger things and make things worse. Yeah. So in the case of like Britney Spears, where she was going through therapy, it just kept circling in on itself, because collapsing and collapsing and collapsing. And have you heard of those rumors of her being like MK Ultra controlled or whatever? It's
Yeah.
like basically the same thing. Like they use these pedophile rings to, like with the Jeffrey Epstein thing, they use these pedophile rings to like control people and like break them down, which I can see happening and being a real thing. Like being able to break someone down to the point of mind control. I can believe that. Yeah. Break someone.
I definitely can believe it, and the tactics that they would use, it would make you feel like you have no escape, no matter what you did. So
I
you
mean, that's
have,
just like people, just domestic abuse victims. Look
yeah,
at them. It's the same thing.
it's amazing what some of these people have endured, but we won't understand it, and you wouldn't understand it unless you actually live through it. So when we shun people and say, "Oh, this person is crazy," well, that's dismissive. You don't know what the whole story is that made them become the way that they are, the way that you see them. All you see is their reaction. You don't see everything that led up to that reaction. So um, there was a,
Exactly. You don't see both sides. You're just seeing
yeah.
half of it.
And then there was a report by um, Corey Haim's mom saying it was conflicting. It said that she admitted that Charlie Sheen was one of the people who sexually molested her son, and then it came out where she said no, Charlie Sheen is not one of the people who sexually molested my son. So that leads to a whole lot of mess. And I'm thinking, the way that I think, they say usually someone who is a predator at a young age was preyed upon. So if this is the truth, who actually preyed on Charlie Sheen? Like, Charlie Sheen probably could be.
Right? This isn't one of those things where he just thought about doing this.
Yeah, it's not like
it started somewhere.
It started somewhere. Like, somebody may have told him the same thing or convinced him of the same thing. Took advantage of Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen grew up. He was young. I see that. That's nice. He was 19, so he grew up, thinking that it was normal. So when he got around some little kids, he thought it was fine. How bold do you get where you're in broad daylight and you just, you know, oil up somebody with some cooking oil and then just rape them right then and there? Like, that means you weren't scared. You were not
right,
afraid.
Like, how brazen and bold do you have to be to feel so confident that you can just, and like, how often is this happening in Hollywood that people are just going on raping everybody in broad daylight?
Exactly.
Like, does that kind of alarm you? Does that alarm
exactly. Exactly. So there's more to this story that's not being discussed. And if every detail that was revealed is true, then there's way more to this story that's not being discussed. And Charlie Sheen, if this did happen, maybe he could help somebody else by coming out about what happened to him that led him to become the prolific possible pedophile that he's being accused of being.
Then maybe, just maybe, if he came forward, then it wouldn't just fall on him. And like I said, it wouldn't just like make it seem like, hey, I just thought about raping you today with a bag of Crisco.
And it wasn't. And the thing is, he was 19. He was old enough to know better. He was damn sure old enough to know better.
You have to get a woman. Like, we know that he's not gay, so why?
Yeah, he
other than it being a power thing.
Yeah,
like what?
But it would be a different case if he was like 30-year-old Charlie Sheen and then he snatched up this 19-year-old. But he was 19, 15. I think that was there was something there to where he thought that was okay. He knew he wasn't going to get in trouble. He didn't care where he did it. They just needed a place to duck out. They didn't go inside the trailer. They got between two things in broad daylight. He did his due and went about his business. And, nobody said anything. This is the bro code. No 19-year-old is just going to tell a 15-year-old that they just raped that, this is the bro code, unless he was told that prior.
Right? Like, don't say anything to anyone.
If anything, yeah, he would have probably grabbed him up, say, if you tell anybody, I'm gonna kill you, or something like that. Like for somebody who's fearful of something, they would take different measures instead of, oh, this is a bro code. This is what we do all the time. This all the boys do this.
It's
Somebody
normal.
somebody groomed him. Somebody taught him that, and he just repeated it. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
But
I mean, a lot of the time, things are learned behaviors. They're not.
you just went dark.
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can try and fix it. It's because
Okay.
this. Oh, I know why. Hold on.
Just don't move the camera. It's perfect.
Okay.
But yeah, so after this, there are going to be a lot of people out there trying to find out, the truth behind this. And then what adds more mystery to it is, yes, you saw the first 45 minutes, but this is a 2 hour long thing. So we're missing an additional hour and 15 minutes of footage. And if he did so much of a tell all in the first 45, what part of it
And I
did
didn't
we
even know
miss
that was
out?
the first 45. That could have been because it was played on a continuous loop. Because I had missed the 10 o'clock show, and then that was whenever they were experiencing their issues, and then I missed the 3 o'clock show, and then that's when he sent out an email and was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on a continuous loop for everyone who's purchased a ticket. It's going to be available for the next 24 hours as much as you want to watch it."
Okay.
So after that, that's when I started watching it. I mean, I was watching it like 2 or 3 in the morning, so I wasn't gonna watch all of it. I had planned on watching more of it the next day, but it was honestly like so graphic and so like detailed that, like I said, the whole crypto thing. I mean, that was just more than I wanted to hear or visualize or see. And I've got 2 little boys, so the last thing I want to do is imagine 2 little boys getting raped.
Exactly. That's how I felt when I watched Leaving Neverland. Like, it was very graphic and
yeah, that one was
yeah.
sad. But then again, like half of those people, I mean, you cannot distrust a victim or whatever. So I don't want to say that I don't think that they're telling the truth,
Yeah.
but I do think that some of those are exaggerated a little bit. The Neverland stories.
The way that I see it, at the end of the day, with Michael Jackson's case, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. Let him rest in peace. Whatever he did, it's too late. Unless I pray he.
And like you bring this up years and years later. Yeah, after the statutes of limitation have like gone and over with.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Like, why bring it up now that he's dead? I mean, it's kind of like the Kobe Bryant thing. Yeah. People wanted to bring up the rape allegations with Kobe Bryant, but they wanted to do it after the fact that he had died and not during the time that it was actually going
that
on.
He was alive.
And the fact that it was dismissed.
Yeah, that case was dismissed. Yeah, with all of that, like when someone passes, it's kind of like there, it what could have been done can't. And I know as a victim, if you really did live through that, it's something that you have to live with regardless if the person is has passed or not. So I get that aspect of it, but dealing with these TV channel, dealing with these networks and stuff like that, it turns into a money grab. So it loses its value, and then with everything that's going on, there's somebody who's probably going through something, and their story might not be heard on the level that it needs to be heard because of the media circus that's surrounding a situation that can no longer be really taken care of, other than maybe the estate saying, okay, we admit to it, but that's probably never going to happen. But if you go into thinking about the Corey Haim thing, yes, Corey Haim is dead, but the people who are responsible for what happened to Corey Haim, which led him on his spiral, which ultimately led to his death, they're still alive.
Yeah, and
there's
they're possibly still continuing to victimize people.
and that's why this issue, Corey Feldman coming forward. Now, this is important because maybe we can stop somebody. Maybe we could save somebody. Maybe we can get some sort of justice for the victims of these crimes. So that's why this is so significant, compared to other cases. These people are still here. These people are still committing crimes. So, maybe if after this these few people come forward, maybe someone else will get enough strength to come forward because, like he said, these are powerful people with a lot of connections. Every other day we're looking at the news and celebrities are dying left and right. Every other day is someone
That
passes.
Brittany Murphy supposedly was one of them.
Yeah, Brittany Murphy. I remember I used to love Brittany Murphy. Oh my god.
Me too.
Yeah, I loved Brittany Murphy.
My favorite was King of the Hills. Yeah. Shut up, Bobby.
I love Brittany Murphy, and there was a article I read where her mother was saying that she held Brittany Murphy, and her mom was like, I think the mom said Brittany says like, "Mom, they're going to kill me" or something like that. Like
like what was up with that? Like why? What would she have to hide though? Like why would they want to kill her?
Exactly. But if you go back, Robin Williams, Prince, all Whitney Houston, once you start going down the line, all of them, mysterious circumstances, and it's just a passed off as, oh, it's drug related, oh, it's drug related, oh, it's drug related. Or if you look at all of these rappers getting shot and just dying left and right, so there is something here, in a lot of. I mean, if they are trying to come forward, they're definitely dying. So I can see where the fear element is in that. Corey Feldman, he must have a hell of a security team.
Right?
Well, you have survived.
Stabbed. I saw that part on the documentary where he had gotten stabbed, and I was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
He got his ass beat.
Yeah, I think there was a situation, even going back to, what was it? Was it Danny Glover? One of them, his niece got stabbed and killed. Like, there's a lot of stories of celebrities or their family members dying messed up deaths. So I think that there is a group of people who want to come forward, or if they get the idea of coming forward, there's another group of people that's out there assassinating them. But it might be being covered up, or they might just be dying because we do die. But who knows the truth? Yeah. And hopefully the truth comes out one day. So there definitely will be updates to this. And one thing I wanted to hit on is the fact that when something happens to you when you're a kid, another thing that people forget is, when you grow up and you become an adult, we're looking at them. We don't see Corey Himes as the 15-year-old anymore. We saw him as the 30-year-old with a drug habit and blah 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 blah. But when you look at him, you have to remember, he wasn't always 30. He was that kid that got abused, and that led to the monster that that led to the person with the problems that you see now. So just looking at someone in their adult form, that doesn't mean that they weren't taken advantage of when they were children. And I think that's one thing that people use, a mental tool that we use in order to cope. But in reality, we're taking away the significance of what actually happened. Just because you see them as an adult now, they smoke weed and talk and cuss and blah blah blah, blah, and it doesn't align with how you view a victim should carry themselves. That does not mean that didn't happen to them. It might just be an effect.
Because they'll still continue to carry it with them forever.
Yeah.
And even they say that those things are even repressed into your DNA. So
yeah,
the cortisol, things like that are passed into your genes, those things and that stress is even passed on to your children.
Yeah. Yeah, very true.
So it's not just one of those things where it's literally ingrained in your DNA forever.
Yeah, it's a genetic memory. I believe in genetic memory. And
Me
you're
too.
the first person I've heard of who actually commented on that. That's why I'm like, oh, awesome. But I believe in genetic memory, and I believe that that is true. That it gets ingrained into your genetic memory. Let's see. So the next, after talking about Corey Feldman coming forth about the rape of Corey Haim, one form of justice, I call it 23 and Harvey because it rhymes. But Harvey, it does, right? 23 and Harvey. 23 and Harvey. Harvey Weinstein, he was found guilty and they gave him, I think they said his sentence is 23 years behind bars for what he's done. So 23 and Harvey, I thought that was, I don't know, but I was like, that's cute. It's sick, but it rhymes. Yeah, so 23 and Harvey, and it took a lot of those women, years to bring him to justice. People were speaking about it from the day that it happened, but he had so much power, he was able to silence them or bully them, or who knows what has happened to some of his
kill
victims.
them.
Yeah, or get them killed. So they were able to get some form of justice, and even if he serves 2 minutes behind bars, because if you look at what happened to Epstein, Epstein went into jail, his victims felt like they finally got some vindication, and then he's found dead. So
then he died.
Yeah, so it's
that. Which I don't believe that either.
A lot of people don't believe that. There's a whole conspiracy theory behind Epstein. Like,
trust me, if you want to kill yourself, you will kill yourself. And I don't think, just like not statistics, but science. Okay, Father Science says that it's just not possible.
Yeah. Okay, let's hit. So we are getting close to you. Let's see. So in Italy right now, it says that they have quarantined 16 billion citizens in the north in a drastic bid to slow the virus spread. So they are currently on a lockdown. And basically they found from what I don't know how recent or how old this is, but things change rapidly. But they said they have 16 million people quarantined since March 8th. They have 9,172 cases that have been recorded. Entry and exit are strictly limited. Self-isolation is mandatory for people with confirmed coronavirus. Museums, theaters, cinemas, and other entertainment venues have been shut down. Sporting and religious events have been postponed. Bars and restaurants can open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. so long as customers sit at least 1 meter apart. All national ski resorts have been shut down. So the coronavirus is getting pretty scary.
Yeah, get this. No, get this. It's funny that you would bring this up. My husband works for ConocoPhillips, which is, do you know what Phillips is? ConocoPhillips is?
Well, no, I don't.
Okay, so in the Southwest and in the South, ConocoPhillips and Phillips is like a huge oil industry company. And my husband happens to work for them. He happens to be like an accountant guy who plays with rich people's money and makes sure that they're getting paid and stuff. So one of his jobs is he works like a crap ton. He works in a huge office building, basically the only high rise in our town.
Okay.
And it's got like maybe 15 floors. I'm not sure, but I know it's above 10. And my husband works on the 8th floor. They actually just made him start sending his stuff home, and they're going to start making them work from home.
Okay.
Because they sent home their computers. I actually have to give up this room because I opened up a salon, but I have to give up this room so that he can turn it to his office. Yeah.
It's crazy. I know that they said in China they're telling a few people to, they're giving them the okay to go back to work because they can't work from home, but it is spreading. I work I'm not going to give those details out, but if we, I don't know what the future holds. So it is not something that we should take lightly, even if you have a slight cough. Like, if I don't get sick often, but when I do get sick, I definitely get sick, and I'm praying that I'm able to not come across someone who has the virus. But if you do have the virus, or you suspect that you have the virus, the number one thing that they said is to wear a mask so you can prevent the spread of it. Take precautions. If you feel like you have the
Yeah.
slightest cold, do what do take some type of precaution. Is Are you moving the paper very slowly?
No, it's feeding it.
Oh, I'm like, no, I thought I was tweaking. I just saw your head moving so slow. I'm like, okay, are we
Yeah,
having
I
a
was holding
feed
on to
issue?
it and I was feeding it.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So, you have to at least don't be selfish and protect yourself. But it's funny that I've seen so many posts about coronavirus and people are so scared of catching it. But they're trying to close down or postpone Coachella. But I really personally have said this, that last year Coachella basically had a herpes outbreak. Why didn't they think about
Right?
they didn't think about postponing Coachella because of the herpes outbreak? Like, but you will postpone it for Corona?
Dude, they're changing it. They're postponing everything because
Oh,
of Corona.
oh my God! So what are you doing now?
I got to take my weave
Uh huh.
and I got to measure it out over this so I can make sure. And then I layer them over it, depending on how it is. Because you see this right here?
Uh huh.
This
Beautiful.
guy, I actually paint. So depending on what it is, I have to paint it either sitting up straight so that it goes around, or I have to paint it laying down. But since this is like a regular image and it's not anything that requires a lot of like 3D or anything, um, it's a pretty flat image. It doesn't require a lot of shading, so I'm just gonna keep it flat. And I just measure it, cut it out, and then layer them over and over and over until I've got a repeated image.
So that you okay? So we're gonna go into that. Hold on one second. Amazing your power. Okay. So basically, I was just asking her about what she was doing, and for me personally, I think you're a visionary because I've seen stencil work before, I've seen color work before, but I have never seen someone who paints Da Vinci masterpieces onto weave. Like, that is freaking amazing. What inspired you to start doing that? Like, did you start off small, or did you say, "Oh, I want to put a Mona Lisa on this hairpiece"?
Well, it actually kind of started off I I've always had the idea, but I just didn't really know how to incorporate it. And I do have to admit, my mom reminded me of the idea, and she's the one that told me, because I never really knew exactly what to do, and that was one of the problems, is I didn't really know how to approach it, or what to do, or how to go about doing it. And so I just decided to go ahead and take my art methods, because I have my associates in art as well.
Okay.
Just go ahead and take my associates and basically force myself to use my brain to make it work. And because I grew up poor and I'm super innovative,
Yeah.
when you grow up really poor, you have to be innovative.
Yeah, you do. You do.
So
You have to be really
you have to be
creative.
resourceful. So one of the things that I did whenever I was younger, when I was 15, I was a little scene kid, and I would put like little coontails and all kinds of stuff in my hair,
Okay.
like stars and stars and like leopard print. But like back then, people always called me stupid, or they told me that it was stupid, or I would get made fun of a lot for it.
Okay. How did you overcome that for another kid that someone who might watch this and people aren't supporting their vision?
Basically, they're fucking losers, really. The one thing that I found out and about doing all this is that when people talk shit about things that I do, it doesn't really bother me because honestly, half the time we're fucking selling MLM and not doing shit with themselves.
Yeah.
So really, and then that's really the only people that tend to hate on my stuff is the people that don't have any motivation to do anything themselves.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me at all, but like someone who might be listening and, you know, might feel discouraged or whatever, I would just tell them, you know, look at me. People tell me all the time. Or, you know, if I would have persisted with this a long ass time ago, can you imagine where I would be now?
Yeah. I mean, what you're doing is pretty amazing because I've looked at this Mona Lisa several times, and the detail. Oh my gosh. How do you get the shading and everything to pop the way that it does on hair? It's easy to put a stencil or hello, I can't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at YouTube. But it's easy to take a sponge and some color and sponge it onto the hair. You have little triangles or a little simple design, or like I've seen where they do with the spray paint, where they spray it on the hair, levels of color or whatever. This is actually you're a painter.
Yeah. I actually have more right here. So I've got this one, which is, I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Is that the Marilyn Monroe? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you guys see that? That is not easy. That's not stencil. That is some artist. That is a different level of art.
There is this one, because I made variations of them, because I wanted to do an Andy Warhol.
Oh my God. It's beautiful. So do you make pieces and ship them out, or how would somebody be able to? Okay, so if they make a special order?
Yeah, they basically send in a request, and then I'll get a request, like through my Instagram or something, and then through like Gloss Genius or whatever, they're required to put down a payment. It's non-refundable, the payment, so like, if I start working on it, or if I buy the materials, they can't just like crap out and like back out on me on the last minute. But yeah, I've had people order wigs, and the way that I'm able to get things to look so, I guess, detailed.
Yeah.
This kind of resolution. Like, I went to school, and I've always been really good at drawing, but I wasn't really that good at shading.
Okay.
Everything always looked really, really, really flat, and the reason being is because I'm called what's a tetrachromat, which means that I can actually, where you see on a scale of range between 1 and 10 colors, say 1 being white and 10 being black, you see a full grayscale between 1 and 10. I see 1 in 100.
Are you serious?
So I can see literally every single minute detail difference in shades.
That's a blessing as far as when it comes to. So that's what enables you.
It's actually kind of a curse because it's a pain in the ass picking out. A lot of the time I can't tell what color something is. I mean, I can tell obviously it's orange.
Yeah.
But I can't, like, fabrics bug the crap out of me because there's so many different colors on them.
Okay.
Even though this might look yellow to me, look yellow to you, like just like a plain yellow, it looks like a staticky yellow to me. Everything kind of looks like static.
Oh, okay. Okay. So everything, okay. I get what you're saying. I get
pixelated in a way. Yeah.
How did you realize that was a vision issue with you?
School. In college, they do the test, which is like they basically have you just to make sure that you're able to tell the differences and variations in shades anyway. Yeah. They give you a sheet, and they had you separate those colors just like a little kid, like literally like a little kid, like you're in 3rd grade or like you're 3 years old. They give you a piece of paper, they give you 10 shades, and they have you take those shades and put them in order from lightest to darkest. and you have to get them in the exact same order every single time. Or and if you don't, then obviously you're not one. But if you are able to get it correct every single time, then they start adding more in between there. And what looks like just regular gray squares to you is like 10 different shades to me.
Okay. Okay. And that's how you were able to discover. They say, wait a second, you're able to differentiate between these levels of grays,
Yeah.
even there's a minute
It makes
difference.
things really, it kind of makes things hard to look at. So a lot of the time I'd be asking my teacher, what color is this? Because I couldn't, it's not that I'm colorblind. It's like a spectrum of rainbows almost. I'm able to see all the hues that go into that one color. So, like, every spectrum of that color. Because a lot of times you guys only perceive it as a flat color. But whereas I see it, it's a giant range of one color. And so it's hard
So
to.
it's kind of like a mini hell when it comes to
things.
painting.
Huh?
I said, so it's kind of like a mini hell when it comes to painting, because unless you're painting like this huge, like if you took a picture of one shade of red, you would be able to take it dot by dot and color that picture of red, and it show the variants of red that are actually within that. But when you're just trying to do a brush stroke of red, you know that it doesn't look exactly like the image that you're putting on there, because you can see all of the different shades and the different colors that are on there. If I summed it
So,
up.
like, one of the biggest things is, like, when I'm doing portraits or, like, when I'm doing, like, super detailed work, I take the image and I blow it up to the point where, like, it's literally pixel by pixel.
Okay.
And I'm going pixel by pixel to get the colors right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a huge pain in the ass, and it's really tedious. Like, people are always like, oh, I can do that. And I'm like, bitch, do you really want to spend 7 days doing it? Because
I was going to ask you how long it takes you just to finish one piece.
It depends. Mona Lisa took me a month.
Are you serious? It looks like a month's worth of work.
Like this will only take me an hour or two. This will only take me an hour or two, and the actual portrait work and things like that, those take me forever.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. And then we have the Botticelli. That is freaking amazing. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, the Birth of Venus.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite paintings in school.
And let's see.
I'm really into Greek mythology.
And then we go into. I took a few images off of your page. This is the last one, where you did some stencils in your hair, and I think they call it the oil slick look. And I love this. The multicolor, the red, the yellow, the green, and then the blue and the purple. I thought that was. Yes, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. So she is an amazing artist, and this is some of her work. You can contact her on her Facebook. Do you want to give your Facebook?
Yeah, my Facebook is Stizzy G, and then my Instagram is at Steffi and Maria. So it's StephyAnnMaria.
Okay, so you can find her on YouTube or Facebook. I said you can find her on Facebook or Instagram.
You can find me on YouTube too, because you can watch me color on there.
Okay, and you can find her on YouTube and basically see her process. Again, this is not your run of the mill stencils. This is something, like she said, it takes 7 days or a month just to get that piece just right. If you're familiar with art, if you're familiar,
and that's
with
just an extension piece. That's not including wigs. Wigs take a good minute.
Are you serious? But
especially when you want high resolution.
Yeah.
Like with Mona Lisa, if I were to do something on Mona Lisa, that'd probably take me about 6 months.
Oh my gosh. But this is high res. It definitely is. Like, you cannot go against this. When I saw this, I'm like, oh, she painted this? How? how you can is when you do a flat stencil image, it's easy to do a flat stencil image. Like you can see the depth in this painting. This was like a Mona Lisa. The you can see the 1 point perspective, the 2 point perspective in this painting. You can see the shading on her cheeks. You can see the deepness in her brow. Like everything, it's so amazing to me. That's why I had to reach out to her and try to get her on the show because this I've seen a lot of hair work. I've been into hair stenciling for a while, but she took it a step above, and I think that's where the quality comes in. Where you can get anybody to do it, but you can't get somebody to do it like Stizzy in a sense. If you get what I'm saying.
Oh yes, I've been trying, girl. I've been trying and trying, and I'm finally starting to get somewhere with it, like
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube. And I just signed with Junkin Media.
Uh-huh.
I just signed a bunch of my videos over to Junkin Media, so I'll be sharing I'll be partnering with them. So I'm now sponsored and signed, but with Junkin Media. You guys happen to see those videos? They're called People Are Awesome, or they have the fail videos
Let's
that are
see.
most found or most seen on Facebook, or the most popular on Facebook.
I will have to
They
look.
have those groups.
Okay, so I'll if you want to find that, I think it should be available on Facebook or YouTube. I've never heard of them before, but I am fairly new to the Facebook scene. I'm very new to the YouTube scene. That's why I'm trying to see if I can collaborate with as many people as possible, get my name known, and meet with very influential people. And I have so far. I've been amazed at the people I've been able to get to come on my show. And I thank you again, Stizzy, for giving me your time.
Oh yeah,
How
no problem. This is a
how
lot of fun.
yeah, and usually, don't worry because I get more viewers after the fact than I do
Oh,
sometimes during
don't
the
worry.
live. So, um, and again, most of my viewers are on YouTube. I would love for them to, I mean, on Facebook, I would love for them to migrate over to YouTube. But I would like to also build an organic following. But I think that this is a really good show. I loved your conversation. How far did you get on the weave, on the piece?
Let's see. I've gotten this
Don't
far with
move
it. I'm
it
trying
too
not to.
much. I don't want you to
Yeah, try
slow
not
it.
to move it too much, because once you get it stuck, or once you got it placed, can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. I can definitely see it. So
Yeah.
she's just getting a weed leaf. Is it going to go down in the back or on the side or something like that?
It'll probably go on the side of her head, and her hair is red, so it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to do rainbows, but like fade it into the same shade of red that she's got.
Okay. Okay. And how long you said you think that piece would take you a few hours?
Yeah, this one should only. This one I'm actually should only take me maybe an hour.
Okay.
Um, yeah, this one should be fairly easy to do, unless I decide to get crazy with the rainbows and make it like holographic looking.
How
That's where the added processes come in, and that's when I start to lose myself. And because once I get inspired, my husband hates it. I'll stay up till like 4 o'clock in the morning painting.
That is amazing. At least you're doing something that you love. A lot of us end up working at jobs that we hate. I don't care where I work as long as I get paid. But some people, they go to work and they feel drained and they're like, "Oh, I hate this job and it's killing me." But like you have something that you love doing.
Oh,
How
I
did
love
you
it. Yes.
initially get involved in the hair industry? Like, was it? I know you said you went to school for art, but like, how did it transfer over into hair?
Well, I actually was going to school for. I actually went to school for cosmetology first, because I wasn't actually intending on being a cosmetologist. I just wanted to be a cosmetologist while I was in college. And then once I actually graduated college, my professor was like, "Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now." I was like, "I barely have a job, and so I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you right now, you should go back to doing hair." And the only reason why I got started doing this is because people in my town are like pretty boring. I live in
Uh-huh.
a really, really well, it's not really small, but it's bland as hell.
Okay.
And people just you ever seen that video that makes fun of everybody? It's called "Everybody with the Same Fucking Haircut." Well, that's basically how my town is.
The
It's basically everybody
Pleasantville.
with the same fucking hairstyle.
Mm-hmm. So you're like the
And
odd one out, and
yeah,
the
I
one
just start
that
getting super uninspired.
you're
I
the.
almost quit doing hair.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it is when you're in a smaller town. But the funny part about it, what you're doing is so unique. I would see that you move to a place like where I live. I'm in Los Angeles, and you start doing it, and we'll end up with 10,000 copycats. Okay,
Right?
so that's where the problem is.
There's
Either
already trust and believe though, Tony. There's already tons of copycats, but they can't do it like me. You know what I mean? They try, but their resolution is low and it's blurry and it comes out kind of muddy. They just don't have the right methods.
Yeah,
and they haven't put practice in it. They see it, they want to do it, and yes, it looks nice, but it doesn't look like the resolution is low.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Quality is low.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't put the time and the effort into it because it's rushed. And these kinds of things, I feel like they cannot be rushed. There is one person who I'm very fond of. Her name is Shannon, though. Okay. And she does a great job.
But it's still...
I would say she's up there with me.
Okay. Okay. She probably has the same vision thing to where she's able to see the colors and paint it the way that you do, in a sense.
Yeah, she's got a very, very good artistic hand.
So I would say that you are amazing in the fact that you're able to recognize that, because I would be like, I'm the first person who did it. I understand that you're
well, I mean, there are other people. I am the first to do these, but there are other people who are the first to do other things. Like there's this girl named Ursula, and I believe that she did Starry Night before I did. Mm-hmm. And it looks great, but mine's just a little bit more detailed, I guess.
Okay.
And it's more of based on, like I said, the actual painting itself. Whereas those people, they take those inspirations, and that's all it is. It's an inspiration. They take that idea, and instead of doing literal Starry Night or something like that, they just take that inspiration and run with it, and then just do like a Starry Night themed hair, or they don't actually take it to using the time to make it into Starry Night and figuring out how not to get it to look shitty when you rinse it out.
Yeah, that's been the hardest part. I was about to say that. How do you rinse it out without destroying the design?
I have to go either layer by layer, or I have to go I'll have to do like for instance with this, I'm not gonna have to go in and do any extra rinsing or anything like that. But with this, or like with Mona Lisa, I'll do like the yellow. I mean, it's kind of like screen printing in a way. I'll do the yellows first, and then I'll rinse that out, and then I'll go back over it, and then there's a way to layer your colors so that they do not bleed. And I've learned that in school through painting.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I'm literally using my art methods that I learned in hair. That I learned in school to put it in hair.
Okay, and it helps. I mean, you can tell that you have been trained in the classical style of painting by looking at your work. Like, you can tell that you have some type of training that enabled you to be able to paint that way. Most people, I mean, when it comes to painting on a canvas, is one thing, but being able to transfer that canvas and turn that hair into your canvas and be able to get detail and, like you said, a resolution.
Oh, you what I can do on hair. You can see what I can do on canvas. It's crazy.
I can only imagine. Like, I'm still floored, and I want to see, like, what can I do to try to see if I can get me a Stizzy.
Yes! Oh my gosh, I can make you one that says Toni Talks.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We'll have to discuss this afterwards. We're not going to do it live. Maybe, yes, that would be amazing. Oh my God. And then I'll send you. Okay. Oh my. Shoot.
Yes.
Okay. So I would get a stick. Okay. You got me thinking now. I wasn't thinking that at first. Okay. What
I
is?
was thinking about doing a Toni Talks on here, but then I was like, well, I don't know if I would be able to send it to her or what, or like what I would end up doing with it. So
You
I
will
was like,
be
well, I'll do
able to
this
send
and
it
then
to
I'll see
me.
if you're interested in it.
You will be the second person. I had another show where we were doing facials for some. I don't know what happened to that. I never received it, but I paid for some of her products, and I wanted to do a facial live on the show, but I just never received the package, so I kind of let that go. I'm not that type of person, so hey, you know, it
Right?
is it is what it
Yeah, me
is.
either. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know. But overall, I would love to get a live with Tony Talks. That would be the shit. Um, so we're gonna have to discuss that afterwards. But I know that this is going to take a minute, and I try to keep my shows down to about an hour at the most. So we enjoy. If you want to see her finished work, are you going to put that work on your
Mm-hmm.
website, or are okay? You're gonna put it on
Yeah,
Facebook. Oh, okay, so
yeah.
you could start to see the wheat leaf, and even in that, you could see the detail where you could see how the leaf cuts, the folds of the leaf, and kind of like the slight details of the leaf. So that is actually really cute. But she says she's going to put the final product for what we're viewing her starting today on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. But if you do want to hire her for her services, contact her on Facebook or Instagram. Again, this is Stizzy G, STIZZY GII. Thank you. And this is a bad bitch exclusive because you have to be a bad bitch to paint a Mona Lisa. A good Mona
Tony, I
Lisa.
can tell that I freaking love you, and I've absolutely loved talking to you. I would absolutely love to be on it again.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I probably have my live with
Yes.
Tony
Oh
Talks
my
by
god, the
then.
next time, girl, the next time I'm on, I'm gonna be painting Toni Talks.
That would be amazing. I'm looking forward to it. So don't hang up. I am going to close out the show, and I want to talk to you afterwards. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All
Bye.
right, no problem.
Peace, Facebook. Love you guys. Go Stizzy! Go Stizzy! Go Stizzy! Go
Ooh, go
Stizzy!
Tony!
Go
Go Tony!
Stizzy! We're still live.